Hello, you're watching TVP World Talks. I'm Jonasz Rewiński. During the recent Eastern Flank Summit in Helsinki, Poland made its mark as one of the leading powers in the region. With one of NATO's highest defense spending to GDP ratios, Poland flexes its military muscles, as evidenced by its high-tech Patriot air defense component going online this week. But does it have the diplomatic acumen to match? Can it successfully push for Eastern Flank unity in the face of Russian military adventurism? Joining us here today is Wojciech Kozioł, defense editor at Defense24. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Hello and good morning.
So let's begin with an overall assessment. Do you think that this new format, which has been emerging for a while and now it seems to actually have gained more momentum in Helsinki, is here to stay as a major force within NATO, which will allow us to increase our defense capabilities?
Well, I think yes, it will be some kind of alliance in alliance. I think it's worth noting that this was the first such an official meeting of the states of the eastern flank of NATO, but also to some extent the northern flank. And yes, the summit itself can be seen as a step forward in building a regional security system that will serve as a complement to NATO and to EU actions in the region. In my opinion, this is a good direction to take, and it's positive if the declarations about bigger strength and defense of Baltic Sea, border security, countermeasures against the violation of airspace by drones and Russian aircraft are followed by concrete actions. We will see in time, but it's a good step forward in our defense and security politics.
Would you say it is emblematic that countries leading the way during that summit were Finland and Poland? Poland, of course, being the bulwark within NATO, with very high defense spending and heavy investments in the military, and also Finland, known for its almost legendary resilience and preparedness.
Yes, but Poland, of course, because have the greatest potential in our region, and it's nothing suspicious. And if we talk about Finland, we must think about a country that have good relationships with Donald Trump and the USA, have a strategic position between Arctic Ocean and Baltic Sea. And in my opinion, this initiative can't exist without us. Furthermore, we should look also at the map, and we see that a lot of initiatives that appeared in Europe in several years ago are looking forward to make their security politics stronger. We see now Eastern flank, but we also see Free Seas initiative. We see Bucharest 9. So it's a process. We all think about threats from Russian Federation and to make our nations much stronger.
So is what we're doing now enough to constitute deterrence against Russia? We have been hearing many forecasts, some of them sounding almost deterministic, as if the only possible outcome is an outright open war between Russia and NATO. But what is the reality on the ground today? Do you think that what is happening now could actually turn the tides and make it possible to avert such an eventuality?
Well, if any war between Russia and NATO could start, it will be maybe 3-5 years after the end of Ukrainian war with Russia, because Russian potential can't handle war on such many lines, with Ukraine, with Finland on the north, with us in Central Europe, and probably on the Black Sea. So it would be too hard for them, but they need just time. We know that this war machine in Russia will not stop in decades, and we must prepare for it. We're not preparing for war, we are preparing for peace by Roman classic quote that si vis pacem parabellum, and that's all.
So what are our biggest challenges today on the eastern flank? Which parts of our defenses would you say are the weakest links that need to be addressed as soon as possible?
First of all, security of Baltic Sea. We have strategic connections between North and Central Europe in this area. Secondly, our air defense, and it's the most important thing if we see what happened in last years on Ukraine. We see thousands of drones every day on Ukrainian front line. And third thing is to fight with misinformation, disinformation, and cyber attacks in our internet, with our bank systems. And it should be our main goals to achieve, to avoid any attacks from Russia.
Now, do you think that deterrence can be achieved without having a substantial long-range component? We're seeing Ukraine attacking refineries all across Russia, effectively slowing down the war machine. Do you think it might actually help if Europe would be able to say, okay, if you've seen what happened in Ukraine, we've got more of such missiles with greater accuracy, greater precision. Would that perhaps be enough to deter any military adventurism from Russia? And where do we stand today in this regard? Because we're not hearing of major investments in this field, at least not in the countries of our region.
Yeah, definitely. We need more airstrike systems which can destroy any factories which Russia have behind their potential front lines. We see what's happening on Ukraine when Ukrainian drones or missiles from the west, like Storm Shadows, are pointing on some of the factories that produce drones, produce rockets and ammunition for Russian soldiers. So yeah, without it we cannot win any war, and Ukraine is a good example for that. They still need a lot of drones to strike behind the front line. They need missiles to secure their airspace. So yeah, this is in the military sphere the most important thing.
Do you think Tomahawk missiles could be next on the list, with a range far surpassing that of Storm Shadows or Scalp missiles? And do you think the US would be willing to sell them to countries of our region?
Maybe, I'm not quite sure. I think that Tomahawks could back if Russia decide to not sit with Ukraine, USA and the European Union to talk about peace. It would be something like counteraction from United States to let Ukraine use Tomahawks to attack Russian positions.
So, of course, we're talking about the ongoing peace process here as well. Speaking of which, do you think that the unity that countries of our region have presented might be helpful in the course of negotiations with the United States? That the Trump administration, seeing a greater unity among Eastern flank countries, will be, for example, more willing to open up the possibilities of more advantageous military contracts, and, of course, to be open towards intervention in case Article 5 might be called for?
Yeah, if we read last national security plan, which appeared at the beginning of December, we see that the USA see our region, I mean Central Europe, Eastern Europe and North Europe, as a place where their interests are the most important. And it's a good sign for us, for Romania, for Finland, for Baltic states. So, in my opinion, this form of alliance in alliance, the eastern flank of NATO, have big potential in Washington's eyes, if we could say that. And yeah, I think making our cooperation in the region much stronger between not only east-west line, but also on northern-southern line will be efficient in next years. Furthermore, we remember when there were talks about peace on Ukraine between USA, Germany, Great Britain and France, but there was nobody from our region. And it was a shame for NATO, for European Union, that they forgot about us. And maybe this step will allow us to make our voice louder in these structures, in the EU, in Europe, in NATO. Maybe this region will be seen as the most important part of our alliance.
Wojciech Kozioł was our guest today here on TVP World. Thank you very much for joining us and for sharing your insight into the subject.
Thank you.
And I'm Jonasz. You're watching TVP World. Please stay with us for more latest news, updates and commentary.